Welcome everyone to the first meeting of the general membership for 2022. We're really excited to have you here, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. But what time? 9:02 a.m. So hopefully all of you had an opportunity to look at the December minutes. Are there any additions, changes to that? All right, if not, we're going to, if there are no changes or any additions to the minutes, we'll have those minutes stand as presented. Josh, you want to start out, give us an update on the strategic planning?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as you all know, we've been working over the course of the last several months on a community-wide strategic plan to address homelessness. And that process has involved, up to this point, mostly efforts to get community input, data review, all of those types of things to really get a sense of where our community is, where the needs are. And then in December and January, the work sort of shifted gears a little bit. And we've had a subcommittee working specifically on housing, how to address the massive gap we have around housing needs for people experiencing homelessness, and what systems and resources need to be in place to do that. And we've had another subcommittee working to address behavioral health needs and supportive service needs, and in a similar way, sort of really trying to capture what the need is around that, what resources are needed, and how we can move forward. Additionally, we've been working, the whole subcommittee has been working on a set of goals around addressing unsheltered homelessness and the needs that would help move our community forward to address that need, whether it's emergency shelter and other processes as well. So we're at a point where the strategic plan steering committee has already reviewed the unsheltered goals and begun to give feedback on those. The housing subcommittee and the behavioral health subcommittee have adopted or close to adopting goals for both of those areas, and the steering committee will review those in February. And we are moving forward. We still anticipate we're on target to have a draft available for the community late winter, early spring. So we'll certainly keep you posted as that comes together. But it's getting to the point now, after all the feedback, where it's getting more and more tangible by the week, which is exciting. So really grateful. Jill Johnson, she's been helping to lead the behavioral health subcommittee. Amy Voiles has been helping on the housing subcommittee. So grateful for all those who have participated in different parts of that process. So thanks, everybody. And then happy to take any questions on that as well.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. There is a lot going on with the strategic planning, and we're really excited as we're watching it move forward. And my apologies. I don't mean to be arrogant about this, but I'm like, I just started talking. I should have made sure that I introduced myself to everyone. I'm Val Yazel. I'm the chair for the Continuum for the next couple of years. So that is as long as they'll have me. How about that? And I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. We're going to have an update now from the 211 update from Katrina Hayes.
Thanks, Val, and hi, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I cannot share my screen. Josh, is there a way that you could help me out? But all of you are, I'm sure, familiar with 211, but as we continue to do this work locally, we want to always make sure that we can talk about this program and all of its benefits, also some of its struggles and how you can help. So just wanted to go over an update with you as I was invited to do so. So thank you so much for your time. So for those of you who don't know, 211 will be celebrating its 25th year this year of being in the country. So it started in 1997 in Atlanta. And then by 2000, the Federal Communications Commission had designated that 211 is the 3-digit number that people can call for information and referral services to social service agencies, and other assistance. Many government programs are also rolled in to 211 for information and referral sharing. So there are many different kinds of organizations that do support 211, including United Ways, Goodwill, community action partnerships, and crisis centers as far as independent organizations. And then there are statewide 211s as well, like in Indiana. So the 211 network of across the United States last year responded to 27.8 million, 27.4 million connections of help and resources in the year 2020. So we're still waiting on all of the national organizations to report their data for 2021, but we do assume that it's going to be the same, if not more, than it was in 2020. So typically when we get calls for 211 and when we look at the data, it really can kind of be bucketed into 4 major areas of including housing, food, transportation, and healthcare. And that so aligns with our work that we do here at United Way with basic needs and financial stability, but also that's why we are so passionate about supporting the organizations on this call with the continuum of care. So, but it's more than just that. So there's a myriad of programs that can be listed in 211, and I'll show you a little bit of how you as a provider could know like all of the different information and referral services that could be listed in 211. Here is just a sample, but again, we'll go a little bit deeper. And it's nice because people can access 211 a few different ways, and we mostly talk about calling because it's always nice to, as you know, a lot of people just really crave the opportunity to speak to someone. And so 211 has its staffed 24/7, 365, and so they can dial 211 just like they would dial 911. But there are times when different cell towers might not be turned on for their area, or maybe they're trying to use their office phone, and there are certain like computer phone companies that don't allow for that dial out of 211. So then we do have that 800 number always in order to get people to connect. But I will also talk about an additional way to connect here in a minute. So in the last 2 years, we launched Text 211, and this is again a national program. So in any area of the country, you can text your zip code to 898211, and you will receive our localized provider, and they will start to ask you the questions they would normally ask you over the phone, but via text. And so that way, in case you are at work or you're in an uncomfortable situation, but you have the ability to text at your phone, you know, and go about your day, it does give you that direct link to someone at 211. And then in times of disaster, the really great thing about 211 is if unfortunately our community were hit with a tornado, or as we've seen the tornadoes hit across the country, all of our 211 providers are connected across the country. So that way, if something happened in our area, someone somewhere in Kentucky could pick up our call. So that way people in our community are still receiving the support and services they need without fault. So another benefit of why we love 211 so much. 211 has services for all different ages, all different genders, and sexual orientations. And again, a number of different services that, again, we'll talk about that as I was going through the full list, I was like, wow, didn't even know that type of service existed. And then I look and I see that we don't have something of that locally. And it might not be because it doesn't exist locally, but it might be because we don't have it up in the system. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. So 211, one of the biggest things that we know about 211, and I know I'm speaking already to people who are very aware and are also very capable of case management. And so you probably already know how to call 211 or feel comfortable calling 211 or feel comfortable sharing to your clients to call 211. But there is a large population in our community that still, number one, doesn't know 211 exists. And number two, doesn't know that in times of crisis, sometimes it's just beneficial just to pick up the phone and call because they may learn something that could help them in that moment. And so really kind of getting over that, well, I'm not someone who needs help kind of thing, that 211 is for everyone, regardless of income, regardless of your situation. And oftentimes we've also seen people call 211 in order to get assistance and support for family members that may live in different states, may live in different counties in Illinois, or they don't feel comfortable picking up the phone. So having someone who is knowledgeable and comfortable is so critically important. So as you're talking to the operator on 211, there are a couple of things that they're doing. Number one, they're generating the information that you are providing to them. So say you end up mentioning that you need rent and utility assistance. So they will give you currently, and so I know things might change, but they will give you a listing of all of the rent and utility assistance services in our area. But they're also going to go one step deeper and ask you if there's anything else going on that could help you as you navigate this time, whether that's food support, whether that is any type of additional assistance. I'm blanking, I apologize. So they're going to be listing all of that out. Then if you're on the phone, they'll ask you if you want your results texted or emailed, and then they will provide you that email and that text. If you're texting them, they will automatically be texting you those results as they're populated, so that way they can help you just have that information. And then the numbers are live, so all the person has to do is click the number and it will call. Just like if someone texts you or shared you a contact, you can just click it and move from there. In the event of emergencies or in distress, 211 operators can make live transfers without any hesitation. So all trained operators have to be trained and ready to handle moments of mental health distress and suicidal ideation. And so at that time, they are helping to stabilize that person, but they are going to live transfer immediately to the suicide hotline. And so that way, the fully trained professional can then assist that person as needed. So our 211 in the state of Illinois, and this is not necessarily nationwide, but in Illinois, it is mandated that all 211 providers have AIRS certification. So it stands for the Alliance of Information and Referral Systems, and it helps to really establish criteria, number one, about the training and knowledge that their team and staff members have to have. It also talks about ongoing professional development for their staff. It talks about the collection and use of data, and it talks about the protection of those the callers. And so it's a really important certification. Again, not all 211s are AIR certified, but in the state of Illinois, they have to be. And it also ensures that everything is 24/7, 365. And that was really important for our statewide leadership because everyone should be able to access help at any time. It does also go a step further, again, because of the nationwide coverage. There are over 170 different languages that are covered through 211 services. And I don't know about you, but I don't speak 170 different languages. So that's really important. And I know that some of our first responders have used 211 in events of, helping people to navigate when there is a language barrier. And so they'll pick up the phone, they'll call 211, and then they'll be able to use the 211 translator to help connect that person to additional services. And so it helps us serve our diverse communities as our communities continue to become even more so multicultural. So I think the one thing that I want to really stress is that you are the hero in this story. If not for your services in this community, 211 wouldn't exist because there would be no services to connect people to. So number one, I just want to say thank you for the work that you provide to the people in our community. And you stand at the ready, whether they're needing you now or they're going to need you 5 years from now. You are ready and you're the hero. But there is some support that we do need from all of our providers, and that's helping to keep 211 up to date. That's one of the biggest hiccups or concerns that people have about 211 when they talk to me is, Katrina, when I called 211, there wasn't this service there. Number one, I take that information and I immediately address it. But at the same time, that's only the people who are coming to talk to me. So if you end up accessing 211 or you have clients that are accessing 211 and you are hearing from them that there are services missing, please notify us and please help us fill those gaps. Through AIR certification, depending on how quick you are to update your profile information, you have to do it at least every 6 months to a year. And again, there's different criteria. So I always say 6 months because it's the safer one. So when we look at that, I hope that when you're receiving those portal update emails, that you're going into every layer of that portal update email and not just clicking through it, because there might be something that you haven't updated in a while. And I know it's just one more thing on your plate, but it's so important to keeping 211 up to date. So again, then responding to those update emails. And if any of you have ever missed an update email from 211, they just keep sending it to you until you get it updated. So that is another thing that I really love about 211 is some of that is automated. And for those of you who help to maintain local directories, you know how hard that work is. So I just appreciate it. New services are happening and being created all of the time. So if you haven't already updated the online forms, you can also reach out to United Way staff and we can help do that for you, whether it's completing the form or we have direct access to the 211 staff, and sometimes we can help expedite that information. And so we're here to help you. Sometimes people don't know that I have the ability as United Way staff, and it's not just me, it's other staff members as well. But say you're in a group working on senior specific issues. You can say, hey, I wonder what we have listed in 211. Number one, for information finding, but also like maybe there are gaps that you already know of and you could help fill. And so just reach out to us. We are always happy to do that. And the 211 staff are always happy to help us do that. So we can request those directories based on topic or based on age or based on topic and age for you. Sometimes they're really big. So I will say you get what you ask for sometimes. We can help to expedite updates or issues when we had like a few years ago when there was just constant change happening in the winter prior to COVID. I was giving weekly updates to our 211 team. So just know that we have that access and we want to make sure that the information is as up to date and available as possible. We are happy to help new organizations get registered and onto 211 because we want their programs and services to be discoverable by our population. And then as always, we have 211 cards that we will provide to you for free for distribution. So please always be thinking about those, having them in your lobby at the ready or in maybe information packs that you'll be distributing at different events or things. We are happy to provide 211 data at any time, and I'll show you a place where you can also access that data in real time at your own leisure. But we produce these nice infographics for just annual reporting. But if you are interested in information as far as like really like when the most call times are, who are the types of people calling into 211, those are different reports that we have access to, and I'd be happy to provide that data. It's we make it publicly available. We're not trying to hold on to anything because we learn as a community. And so I'm gonna pull over 211 counts now just to show you this service. Are you seeing the website now? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So you can see I've already pulled up uapath.211counts.org. And I know I've shared this before, but maybe some of you haven't accessed it yet. And so you can see for all of the counties in Illinois, if you're interested, I have Sangamon pulled up right now, and you can see by and large that the number one call for 211 in our area is housing and shelter. But what I love about 211 counts is then you can dive in deeper. Well, what's that mean, housing and shelter? So you can see that 58.2% of those calls were for rent assistance. Then we go to shelters. Then we go to low cost housing. And it does that for every single category. And then what's even more interesting is that you can then see where we're ranking as far as counties served. Of the 47 counties that our PATH provider serves, you can see that Sangamon County ranks third for the highest request by county for housing and shelter. So please use this information if you are maybe writing grants and you need local data. This is free, it is near real time, and it is completely accessible to you for your use. And of course, our 211 provider is Path out of Bloomington. They serve 47 different counties in the state of Illinois, and they are continuing to always learn and grow. They have a new executive director. His name is Chris Workman, and he is just phenomenal. So the work that's happening at 211 is going to continue to get better. And I am excited for all of you to see that as we continue to grow. Also, if those of you who want to do that full navigation yourself, here's the website, https://www.navigateresources.net/path. That is the full listing of all 211 services that are available for all 47 counties in the state of Illinois, and that can also connect you to some of the national services as well. But when you go to that link and you click all services, it will show you every single possible thing that could be uploaded into 211. And so take a look, maybe think about, you know what, we provide after school programming. Let's see if it's listed, and let's see if our organization got that specific detail in it. Or maybe you've added a food program to your services that is open to the public based on certain days and times. Go in there, search it, and if it doesn't pull up, let's get it on there. Or maybe you're like, wow, I didn't even know that this service could be on 211, and we do offer that. Let's get that on there, and we would really appreciate that one. And so then the last thing I'll say is February 11th is National 211 Day. And so we will be putting together some partner information like social media images and some content that we would love it if you as service providers in the community could help us continue to share this message about 211. And we'll be putting that in a nice package for you. And I'll make sure that Josh has that for one of the next emails. So but at this time, that's all I had. Are there any questions?
Well, thanks, Katrina. I have to admit myself, I didn't know about the text option, and I'm embarrassed to admit that, but I did not. So thank you so very much for that, because that makes it even that much easier too. And again, like you said, if you can't get in right away to the 211 group. So thank you so much. We appreciate that. And again, when people say we have no services in Springfield, we can point right straight to that. And so we appreciate everything United Way is doing to support that. Thank you. All right, emergency housing voucher update. Nick, are you there? Can you give us an update, please?
Howdy, howdy. I'm here. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name's Nick Dodson. I'm the housing navigator for the Heartland Continuum of Care, housed at Helping Hands of Springfield. The most recent update I've got is so far we have utilized 18 of the vouchers that are in process. 6 are fully complete, I believe, 7 waiting on inspection, and around 5 waiting for units still. So just for some of the benchmarks we've met since starting this program in September, helped to onboard 4 landlords that never previously accepted Section 8 at all, which I think is wonderful, and convinced 3 landlords that had stepped away from the program to come back. So I think that's also a pretty cool thing too. It's honestly a pretty easy thing to convince landlords on once I get a little bit of time with them. So if anybody knows any landlords that are on the fence about doing Section 8, thinking about doing Section 8, please send me their contact. I'm glad to sit down with them, do a Zoom, go with them to the SHA and actually go through the orientation process with them so that they feel comfortable with it. Because I know sometimes that can be overwhelming and it can be a lot. So those are some things I've been doing recently. Just last week, we recorded a session for case managers and not-for-profits to understand the process of how the emergency housing voucher program works. If anybody is unsure of that, would like a link to that, or just wants to chat with me for 5 or 10 minutes, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm very accessible via email, text, or call. But really, I think everything's going really great. Just last week, I had a great success story. We had 2 single-headed household families get connected with housing within 7 business days, which I think is really cool. One specifically needed a specific school district and was able to be a mile from her job. So I think that's a big testament to this doing some really good stuff. So that's pretty much all I got. But if anybody needs help navigating the a lot of this stuff with the vouchers, or even just might need a reference for a landlord or a property, don't hesitate to reach out, because that's literally what I'm doing for any not-for-profit in town as a resource for clients and landlords. So that's pretty much the gist of what I got for us, Val.
Okay, thanks, Nick. Does anyone have any questions? We really appreciate all your time and effort, and wow, getting 3 landlords to come back, that in itself, I know 3 doesn't sound like a very big number, but to get them to come back, that's amazing. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My total pleasure.
Okay. Any questions at all? All right, thank you. Our general membership renewals. In Article 2, Section 3 of our governance charter, it states that in January of each year, the Heartland Continuum of Care will determine whether all current members intend to continue. So Josh is going to Josh is going to put in the chat box a link for you to register for 2022. We want to make sure that you keep receiving any information that we're sending. So anything else, Josh, you can add to that?
Nope, the link is there. It's a really simple form. Will only take a couple minutes, but like Val said, it's part of what we need to do as a general membership board in order to keep our membership up to date. So the other thing I would mention is that one of the things you'll be asked about as part of that form, or you have the option to provide feedback on, is if you'd like to be a part of any of our task groups. So I would just encourage you, you can open the link now and start working on that. It really probably would take me about 3 minutes. So thank you, everybody.
I completed it this morning and it took like a minute. So it is not long at all.
And did you sign up for a task group, Katrina? No.
Oh, yeah, I maintained my membership of my current one. Yeah.
No. So we'd encourage you. We're really excited to get the task groups going this year. So like Josh said, if you have any additional time you can spend with us, we'd really appreciate your membership on some of those task groups. The 2022 point in time count, Josh.
Yeah, so as everybody's aware of, unfortunately, it's been an incredibly difficult season as all of your organizations have tried to continue providing services in the midst of another COVID surge. And so we had our initial planning last year as we looked towards the point in time count was to do it in the last 10 days in January. As we looked around, we realized that was not going to be feasible for a lot of our staff, the staffs of our organization. So we applied for an exemption to do it in the last 10 days of February and received that. So our plan at this point is to do the count on February 21st at 8 p.m. And several of your organizations have already reached out. We're going to have a planning meeting in the next week. If you or your organization would like to be a part of the point in time count, get connected with me and I'll be happy to pull you into that. If you're on the call and you're wondering what in the world a point in time count is, HUD mandates that our community do a biannual count of every person in our community that is experiencing homelessness. And so our community's practice has been to do it on an annual basis, just to try to keep that data as up to date as possible. So that's what we'll be undertaking. We put a form together and we kind of break up into teams and we kind of go to different areas of the community, either that are common places where we might encounter a person experiencing homelessness, or in some cases, we go to where we know small encampments are to connect with people and to get the information we need for the count. So we can talk more about that as part of the planning, and we typically do a training event before the count. So if it's something you've not been a part of, but you'd like to be a part of, you're absolutely welcome. So please do. You could even put a note in the chat if you want to be included in that, or just reach out to me personally and I'd be happy to pull you in.
All right, anybody have any questions on that? Thanks, Josh.
No problem.
All right, Ronnie wasn't able to be with us today. So again, Josh, I'm going to ask if you'll give us the ambassador training update.
Absolutely, and I'm going to put a link in the chat here. Many of you saw in November, one of the projects that our community education task group has been working on for some time is a way to really bring our community in and provide them information around all of the work that's going on in our community to develop a system to truly address homelessness. And so we contracted with Ronnie Norton and Strategic Allied to help us with this project. And it's something that we're really proud of. At this point, we've had 67 people do the full training, and it takes a chunk of time. It probably takes about 45 minutes to an hour to go through the whole thing. So to have 67 people go through it is something that we're really proud of. The feedback has been really good. And that team is continuing to review. There's more groups that they're getting in touch with. If you're a part of a social group or a faith community that you want to make sure is aware of that, we'd love for you to take the training and to share the link with them. The link is there in the chat now. Again, it's something that many people have found to be really helpful. We'd encourage all of you to participate. If you get in the first 100, you're eligible to get a t-shirt. So if that's something that entices you, generally everybody loves a free t-shirt. So we would love for you to take part.
Oh, and a certificate, Josh. They get a certificate too.
Yes. The community education team, is there anything that you would like to add beyond what I shared?
Josh, I was just going to speak to sharing maybe that Google Drive that Ronnie created with the actual link, the images, and the text. So what we've kind of done is we wanted to make a direct ask to everybody in this meeting. If I'm going to put a Google Drive link in the chat, and that will actually take you to a couple images that Ronnie has created, as well as a very simple quip that you can share on your social media, via text message, via email, anything, so you don't have to think about it. So literally go to there, right click, save as, copy and paste it to your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And that'll hopefully help some more people get their eyes on it. So if anybody that sees this in the link, please click it now and save it for later, because that'd be huge to share that, please.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, and I think, Josh, you shared it with our local HUD rep, and we got a huge kudos. So it's really on behalf of the continuum that the HUD rep was like, I wish that every single community had something like this. So that's really just a testament to everyone and the services that are happening. And we just were able to really put it into a good way for people to understand, and know, and grow together. So, so thank you. And also just know that doing good things.
All right, thank you. And, of course, I've done the training. And just for anyone here who is part of an organization that wants to learn more, to me, this particular training segment chunks itself into 4, maybe 15-minute segments. So if instead of trying to present all of it, because there is a lot of information to any organization, if you just chunk it down into maybe the 4 groups that there are, I think it'd be something pretty amazing that we can get out to our community.
That's one of the things the team discussed yesterday, Val. So
good. Good, because again, and I was also concerned about the length of time. Maybe somebody doesn't have an hour completely, so if it were in 4 segments, maybe it would be something that someone could take 15 minutes, once a week or something to try and go through. So appreciate that. Great. I'm glad to hear that, Josh. All right, now it's time for any agency updates. Do we have any agency updates from those on the call?
Hi, good morning. This is Jill. Just want you guys to know that, and I believe she is on, we have an interim director for Helping Hands of Springfield, is Annie Lanton. I always pronounce her name wrong. I probably did too. Annie, if you're on, you can pop on and correct me. But if you have any needs for Helping Hands, please reach out to Annie.
Any other updates? Anything exciting happening?
I don't want to put them on the spot, but I guess I am putting them on the spot. Washington Street Mission has a new executive director, Brad Lovin. Brad, I'm not sure if you're able, but if you'd like to come off mute and introduce yourself, we'd love for everybody to hear from you.
Yeah, I came on board at the beginning of January, take over for David. prior to this, I was a missions director at Illinois Baptist, and then before that, I worked with Samaritan's Purse. So I'm excited to be part of the team here, and I'm looking forward to finding ways we can contribute and how we're creating community here at the mission to kind of just connect those we serve to what you guys do.
Thanks, Brad. If you want to
Welcome.
share your email address in the chat, that'd probably be a great way for folks to get connected with you. But thanks for joining.
Welcome, Brad. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I have met with Brad. He has some interesting background and should be a real asset here.
All right. Thanks, Jane. Okay. Well, we don't want to put too many people on the spot. All right. So Josh, you want to take over for the task group updates?
Yeah, at this point, not many of our task groups have had the opportunity to meet yet in January. I know community education met yesterday, and we probably covered a lot of that update through the community ambassador training. But beyond that, the outreach group has been meeting, emergency shelter group has been meeting, but there's probably no updates yet from those task groups. So I think the biggest point of holding the space for the task group updates in this meeting is to really encourage anybody who sees something on there that really interests them and they're passionate about to fill out that renewal form and mark your interest in being involved with those efforts. Many of them are sort of restarting for the year, and so there's a new opportunity to set goals and to help create some momentum around each of those efforts. So we'd love to have you involved. That being said, Archie, I think I saw Archie on, or Virginia. I don't know if there's anything out of veterans that you might want to mention. All right.
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
And this is Rebecca Sanchez. I'm not on the Veterans Task Force, but I am with the VA. And I did want to just let everyone know that if you are coming across veterans, you might want to consider referring them over to us for looking at the vouchers. We've had an eligibility expansion. So previously veterans needed to be eligible for VA healthcare, and that has changed. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're coming across people in the community. We'd love to talk with them a little bit more about our program and see if it's appropriate for them. And then also we have the stand down coming up April 1st. So please, consider being a part of that.
Thank you, Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca, would you mind putting your email in the chat in case any agencies haven't had a chance to connect with you? That would be great. And is that exemption permanent? Is that temporary? Do you know in terms around the VA healthcare?
It is permanent as far as I know. I mean, everything can change, of course, but
yeah, that's a big change, which really does, one of those spaces that, it certainly lowers the barrier for veterans to access those services, or one of the barriers. So that's for agencies that are, and many agencies are, have some involvement. That's a big thing. So we appreciate you bringing it.
Yeah, no, it is a huge change. There is still some requirements around their character of discharge. Mm-hmm. But again, I'll put my email in the chat, and I'm certainly open to talking to anybody, but you might find the VASH team reaching out a lot more for coordination of healthcare in the community and getting that, because we'll be having veterans who cannot access the VA services. So
absolutely. Well, thank you, Rebecca. And I just want to point out also that Annie has added her email address to the chat too. So Annie, appreciate you doing that. So if anybody would like to connect with her, the contact information is there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Josh. Sorry about that. The second Jill started talking, my phone rang, and it was a work call I've been waiting on all morning.
No worries.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, Penny.
So for homeless prevention, we have currently, depending on the day, 4 to 5 staff working on homeless prevention. And while we, of course, are doing the individual calls as they come in, the staff have also been going out to property management companies, apartment complexes, and working with the staff there in order to get people signed up to address delinquencies. And so we've done a lot of the larger property management companies and apartment complexes and things like that. So if anyone knows individual landlords or property owners that are still having problems, get that information to us and we'll get in contact with them and go out and work with them to see if we can assist.
Yeah, that's excellent, Penny. Thank you.
Okay. If there are no other updates, we'll go ahead and move on. Or is there any old business?
Hey Val, before you go there, this is
Sure.
Tracy.
Just
To remind everybody, coordinated entry meeting is immediately after the CO, this general membership meeting, but there's no other updates for that nor HMIS.
Okay, thanks, Tracy. Any new business? Anyone like to bring up anything?
So this is kind of a request of everyone. I know that this doesn't hit all of the populations that you serve, but it does for those who have more expansive programming. It's tax season, and so we know that there could be we had a lack of in-person on-site free services last year, and so we're hoping to see some sites resurge, and we know that some of them are. If your organization or you're partnering with organizations who are providing on-site free tax assistance for individuals, if you could please send me your information. At United Way, we do promote and support My Free Taxes, which is self-supported online tax filings, regardless of income, but you have to be pretty computer savvy to do that. And so we do want to lift up though the services that are happening. And so we tend to be kind of a call hub when it comes to tax season. So if you can please send me your information. We're trying to put together the flyers. That way we can also get it out to all of our employer partners as well. So that way they have it on site for their employees. So please, this is a plea for your information.
Fantastic. Thank you, Katrina. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Anything else? All right, our next meeting will be February 17th at 9 a.m. And we'll look forward to seeing you. But in the meantime, you can reach out to Josh or me, and we'll be happy to talk to you about anything. And if I could have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll
Thanks,
second.
Jane. Thank you. All right, all in favor, a thumbs up. All right, thanks everyone. We appreciate you being on the call. Have a great week.